for Growth, a training company headquartered in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Her work focus is on sustainable member, volunteer, and sales growth. Her unique hands-on approach is rapidly changing the way organizations view recruitment, engagement, and retention. As a small business owner herself, she shares strategies, tools, tips, and training for growing organizations, businesses, and outcomes. She's a dynamic speaker, and she has presented at conferences throughout the US and Canada. Please welcome Sherry Pesh.
Hey, everybody. And we're definitely going to keep this really informal, okay? I know you can hear me now, and I can see most of you. And LinkedIn is just such an amazing tool. And right now, when we're so virtual, I'm excited to share more about that. Just a real quick background. I was at Michigan State University for about 27 years and retired from their hospitality division. I was director of sales and revenue generation for all their hospitality entities, basically. And when I retired, I went to be VP of sales for our convention bureau for just a couple years. And during that time, too, I was a part of Lansing's NACW. And then I left there and started my own business about 11 years ago now. And so I just love that I get to travel. I get to work with clients on growing membership and revenues and just a little of everything. So I got a couple grandkids that I love spending time with as well. So yeah, it's a good stage of life. So LinkedIn, though, is just an amazing tool. There's such a diverse group of ladies here. And hopefully all of you will find a different way to use LinkedIn as we talk about it, because some are in sales, some are in business development, some are in just connections and relationships with business people. So if I can have you physically raise your hand, it's easier for me to take an eye. How many of you feel like you use LinkedIn as a true part of your business work right now? Okay, a couple of you do. Yes, some, Vicky, yay. So some of you are saying probably you have an account, but what do I really do with it? How can it add value? So by the end of this little time we have, this mini session, I hope it intrigues you to say, I want to know more. I'm going to spend a little more time in LinkedIn and see how it can add value to the work you do. At the end, you may go, well, it's good to know this, but I'm not sure it works for me. And that's okay too, right? We'll just look at what's out here. It's a free tool. The things we're going to talk about today are all on the free version of LinkedIn as well, okay? The other version is very expensive, and I don't think it's worth the money that you have to invest in it, really. So we can do an awful lot with the free tool. So especially a lot of us are small business, so we want to make sure we're doing that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share screen, and then I'm going to go and just walk us right through LinkedIn, how we do things. Please unmute yourself and interrupt me, ask questions, because it's relevant for right where we're at. I'd love to tackle it for you right then, okay? So I'm informal. You see I talk a lot once I get going. So you just do a timeout, just interrupt me, okay? The other thing I want to teach you right now with having to do this virtual, wasn't one of the best parts of getting together for lunch, being able to give everyone a hug, hello, shake hands, whatever it is, and just be able to be together. I want to really show you how you can use LinkedIn to shake hands with people. If you want to hug them through, that's okay. But at least how do people come and shake hands with your profile, basically? And how do you shake hands with theirs? So that's what we'll spend our time on real quick today. I'm going to do the share screen here. And let's go right here. All right, everyone should be able to see my LinkedIn now. I only see a few of you once I go to share screen. That's why it's important that you just unmute yourself and start kind of just talking over me if you have a question, okay? Or if, and you can keep an eye on maybe and see if there is something there that you need to interrupt me for, okay? All right, so everyone recognizes LinkedIn. You may not get into your LinkedIn very often, linkedin.com for those of you who don't get into it real often. But I want to talk first about your profile page, basically. It's your introduction card, more or less, okay? So we're going to click over here. There's a couple ways to get to it, as you all know. I don't know how basic to go sometimes in these. You have it here or up here with your picture here. You can get in either way. The thing I would definitely share is that my internet's not working as fast as I'm working. Let's just see if that part works at least. Yes, it does. Every so often I'll do a training and LinkedIn is like way behind me. It's like, oh, come on. And I don't think it's my internet. Usually it's LinkedIn's got something overloading it right now. So I'm going to just hope we come right back to it here. In fact, I may even try opening another. window and see what happens. Sorry, guys. Wouldn't you know? My gosh, I've had it up all day. I'm just going to type in a new window and just see if it brings us up here. And this
And
is what
we
I was
did
saying for.
practice earlier, didn't we, Sherry?
Yeah, it was working just fine. And so it's like, oh my goodness. Like I said, every so often it will do this. So I'll just talk a little bit about what I was going to say until it comes up. The thing I want to talk about with your profile is your profile is your career page in many ways. It's kind of an enhanced resume in some cases, but I want to talk about how to use it as a business development or sales tool for you. So if somebody lands on your LinkedIn profile page, can they see the reason? Are they motivated to call you basically for the kind of work that you do, for the connection that you might want with them? So that's where we want to really look at what are we saying in our profile? And oh my gosh, we need it to come up here for us because I want to be able to show you, oh, I have hope my little stripes going further across here. But one, two, if you don't have a picture, we want to make sure you have a picture on it, right? Because the picture, people know your face quite often more than your name, or, oh, I remember seeing that woman at NACW. Who is she again? But they recognize the face. So we definitely want to make sure that that's a part of what we're doing. And ladies, as we're here, this distracts me when I can't get what I need. I'm going to try putting my hotspot on just to see if by chance it's my internet, even though it should not be because my Zoom is working just fine, isn't it? Yes. So it is LinkedIn right now. And if you guys don't mind, I'm going to, while we're waiting, because it really was much more effective if I can share. So if you guys don't mind being patient with me for a second, I'm going to open another window completely. You won't be able to see it yet. And I'm going to see if LinkedIn comes up on that better. And then that will tell us if it's just LinkedIn as a whole or if it's something with this sharing. And it is just LinkedIn as a whole. What's the timing of that? Does anybody have their laptop open where they could log into LinkedIn to see? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I'm trying right now, so we'll
Okay.
see.
Okay.
My app is working. I use the app. I don't use the web version.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is really quite frustrating. You know what? Maybe I'll try. I can't even imagine logging out is going to be a difference. It's pulling the action. Then I won't even get my screen on. All this time we have waited for this session. Are you kidding me? So I'm just going to keep talking, ladies. We won't be able to see it. I'm going to hope it comes up soon. But again, if you are getting it on your desktop or laptop, let me know. I'm not sure what that will help me with, but we could share your screen. I can direct you. No, that'll be too cool. So let's just talk about getting our profile. If you have your screen up where you can see your profile, it has areas called About. It's got a headline you can use. You want to make sure that your About section is highlighting why you do what you do. Why, if somebody works with you, what's the outcome they can experience? What are you passionate about the work that you do? So with that, I can kind of read that and know right away, this is somebody I might want to do work with. If I search for people who offer leadership training, for example, I type leadership up here in the search bar? I'll pretend like I can. Oh, I can type it. I probably won't be able to search it. But if I type that in there, that's where then do you pop up? Are your keywords talking to your audience with the things they might search from? So if you're doing business development, make sure that you're talking about words that your customers or clients might search to find a vendor for, or a supplier or consultant. Okay, so we definitely want that up there. We want to make sure that in your contact information that you have your phone number so somebody could actually call you. When I first started using this years ago, I was still just leaving the university, and the dean of the hotel school had wanted me to come back and do some co-teaching of classes. So he called me in September, we were chatting. He goes, oh, by the way, happy birthday. I said, well, how would you know my birthday's coming up? He goes, well, I got your phone number from LinkedIn. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we worked together on campus for over 25 years. And he went to LinkedIn to get my phone number. So people are using LinkedIn. That was 10 years ago now. So definitely think about what's your contact information look like. Make sure you've got an email in there, things like that. And if you're doing business development, quite often you can find somebody's cell number on their LinkedIn profile. And it's okay to call it when it's there. And I even reference, I know I was doing some research on your company, came across your profile. I appreciate that you had your phone number in here. I hope it's okay for me to call it. And then it's usually once you get that conversation going, they'll talk with you more. I am going to just, because again, I get very distracted here with this not working. I'm going to try coming to this one and logging out. And man, Were you able to get, anybody else able to get into a LinkedIn.com? You were able to get in. So it's just me, the presenter, who's not able to. So yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Do you want me to share my screen and I'll just do what you tell me?
We could, but let me try one other thing. Let me try pulling up a different browser and see if I can get in on like Chrome, and then I could share that. So sometimes that might be, and I'm going to be really excited if that should happen. Let's hang on, everybody. Oh, I'm in. Okay, hang on. I'm going to go back to stop share screen. I'll come back and share again. Okay, hold on. Excuse me. Okay. Yay, can you see it? Yes, okay. Sorry, I didn't think of that sooner, everybody. Just technical problems. Okay, so we're back over here on our profile where the trouble began. Up here, also brand, now I can get right on track because I know what I see. The brand picture here, make sure you brand your work that you do, your company. Like for me, I'm just a one-person operation, so I brand a little bit of what I do. Now, if you work for an organization, this is an example, like Christy Poor over in Ann Arbor, this is a CVB there. Anybody who works at the CVB has this banner. So you know immediately you've fallen on that. So if you've got a logo or a brand that's very recognizable, put that in there so people know that they've landed on you and what you do there. Okay. So back over to our profile. And it's even working fast. Make sure you've got a picture in here. Make sure people can recognize who you are, because think of LinkedIn as digital networking. This is what, it's no different than walking into a NACW event and shaking hands with people. In fact, often people will say, well, I don't like people to know I looked at their profile because I don't want them to think I'm stalking them. And I always say, but when you walk into NACW, you didn't walk in with a paper sack over your head, right? You let people know I'm here to meet people, I'm here to talk with you. Same thing with LinkedIn. We want people to know that you're looking at their profile. When I very first started my business years ago, I would go look at people's profile that I wanted to work with, and they would look at their profile and say, gosh, who's that lady looking at my profile? And my profile was talking right to them, and over 60% of the time, they sent me a connection request. And now we were connected at a different level. Sometimes they don't reply to emails, but they reply to their LinkedIn messages because they stand out. So the more you can connect in that way. So down through this is that about section I was talking about. You want to come in here and talk a little bit about what you do, specialties that you might have, that someone might Google search or LinkedIn search for somebody who does that type of work. I drop in some testimonials in here because that's the most powerful tool you have if you're looking to grow your customer base, your business, anything. Because what do we do before we download anything? We read reviews, right? Before we buy anything. So let people read reviews. If you have great testimonials about the work you do, drop them in here, and then we'll talk about how to collect those through LinkedIn also. At the bottom of this area, this is where you can pop in all types of PDFs, videos, pictures, links, and you can add in anything you want in here and it stays parked. So you kind of do this once, get your profile where you want it, and you don't have to continue to update it all the time unless you decide to use it for branding, and we'll talk more about posting. But your profile can stay consistent for quite some time, okay? So you've got these areas here that you just blue pencil. If you're newer to LinkedIn, wherever you see a blue pencil, that's how you're going to edit those areas. Okay. So in here, again, you've got some information you can look at. You can look at the different things you're posting. The same thing when you're looking at a potential customer or a current person you do business with. You can come in here and look at their activity and see what's important to them. You can see the articles they post, the activities they like and comment on, the posts that they've done. So if you're wanting to get to know one of your customers, this is a great way to go see what's been important to them to engage with on LinkedIn. Does that make sense?
Now, the document section right there, would that be like maybe part of like your portfolio?
Yes, right in here, this featured area. Yes, you could come in here And that's where, yes, you can add those. Let me just show you the pencil there, the plus sign. You could put definitely portfolio type things in here. Articles, posts, links, media. That's a great place to showcase what you do. Like for me, testimonials are really important. Now, do as I say, not as I do. This is probably an old document at this point. I really should be updating that. But it's important still. That's that's my only sales tool, are testimonials. So I use that and I add them in here as well. So for you, but if you have pictures, videos, marketing type things, definitely get them parked there where people can see those things. Good question. All right, and then you've got your kind of resume stuff here. Again, you can drop in what you do. If you're a person who is your business, testimonials. That's what people care about when they see what do you do. I want to hear what people say you do, not what you say you do, because it means more. Again, fill in this area. Anything you've got in these areas, again, skills and endorsements, that's kind of just there. I don't spend any time on that. Recommendations. If you are looking to grow your business or connect with more business people in a certain sector, go ahead and get more testimonials from those sections, from those sectors of business that you do work with. So you might come in here and ask for a recommendation. And it's a fill in the blank, which is awesome for people. So you might drop in, I'm going to ask for a recommendation, and basically fill in the blanks. When you get to the part that says here, I'd like a testimonial, I usually say, when we last talked, or from an email they'd sent, you talked about these two key words, customer service and timeliness or something. And then I said, it would mean so much to me if you would be willing to share just 2 or 3 sentences around those 2 or 3 words. Most people can do that. But when you just say, can you send me a recommendation? People are like, oh, what am I going to write? They want a paragraph or 2. Give them some help with it. And most people are more than happy to send a recommendation over, especially you know who you're asking for them from. So, and if you don't have any down there yet, you can come up here, and this is where you can do all types of things. You can do more information there. You can add the profile sections to your site. So if you don't have recommendations under there, it will be listed in some of these other fields. So just go around and see if there's anything. You might speak different languages or have different experiences you want to highlight. So just be sure to drop down this little box here, and that's at the top of your profile. Okay.
Do you recommend the people do the skills test then?
Are you talking the skills test or down here with these, where do they show you?
Yeah.
The test, it depends what you are looking to do. I gotta be honest, I've never even looked at the skills test necessarily. Was that in this ad section here? Maybe right in here. Skills.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not heard of the skills test, but this is where you can add skills. If say you used to be in one industry and you've switched industries and all your keywords are about things that maybe you don't necessarily care if people know you're strong in now, you can add those skills that you want to be known for now up here. So when you add those skills, you can come in that skills area here. And I'm sorry if that's another area that we haven't talked. Oh, take the skills quiz. Oh, you could, that's saying if you don't know maybe what your skill, like if I know I want to be known for sales, for business development, for membership growth, things like that. I know the words I want, but say you're not sure. I'm sure this quiz is where you hit it and they ask you questions and you start to figure out what the keywords are you'd want to use. That's my guess. Since it's in this area right here, they're probably saying, what skills do you want to be known for? So yeah, but play with that. That's a great question. I didn't even notice that before. I usually scat right past that. It's one of those things that's there, but I turned it off on mine because it's kind of like somebody would send me, would you endorse me for this? Or they would endorse me for something thinking I'm going to now endorse them back. Well, that's not how it works in my book. If I want to endorse you, I'll endorse you. But just because you endorse me doesn't mean I'm going to just turn around and put my name behind yours. So to me, it's one of those, it's important, but I'm not sure. I haven't talked to anybody who ever uses this for any reason. Maybe if you're looking, like what I look is if someone's really strong in negotiations and I'm coaching a salesperson to call on that company, they'll be ready. They negotiate. They know how to negotiate. So that's one of their strengths. So be ready when you're going in to sell. So that's where you might use it for something like that. If you're a business, talking business to business or something, you might see where their strengths lie and how can you kind of complement that in your approach to working with them. So that's one way. Okay, great questions. All right, so we kind of get our profile. I would definitely spend a lot more time on that, but I know we're ticking away here. So with this, we've got your profile where you like it. So now we're handshaking with people, they're stopping on your profile, they're motivated to call you. That's what we want to get to, that people, when they land on your profile, they go, wow, I didn't know that's what she does, or that's what that company does, and I want to talk to them. Let your profile work for you while you're busy working every day. So now you might say, how do we use it to actually brand ourselves? So back to the home button. Always head back home when you're kind of not sure where you're at in LinkedIn. And this is where you can start to do a post. You might post about your work, about what is happening in your company within your work. You might talk about, maybe you post an industry article that, I know there was someone on here who does physical therapy. Maybe you do a couple resource items for physical therapy. So you want to basically post things that will help you become known and an expert in the work you do. For the leadership work that you do, that's where you might put in and say, this is articles about 10 tips on being a great leader, things that help you be known as an expert in your work. I always like to use like Forbes, Harvard Business Review, reputable publications and such. So there's a couple ways you can do that. Have any of you used Google Alerts? I can't see most people, but Google Alerts is a cool tool. And you can go into Google Alerts, and we probably don't have time to go into that, but and put in a topic you want to get watched online, and they will send you a digest of articles that went online about that topic. And it gives you those articles you might want to share. So I'm going to, actually, I may do it actually because I want to get an example to show you how to post from it. Oops. So as an example, I might come in here and say, how about social media for small business, something like that. And I look through, I like to find something that's kind of relevant. This one is not coming up with that. I'm going to say trends in there and just see if that helps me a little bit. Yeah, well, just pretend that's important, okay? So we look at this and we read the article completely to make sure we agree with everything that's in that article, right? So we look at it, we go, this is a great article. I want to put that out there. I'm going to copy that URL, however you find articles. I'm going to come back to LinkedIn and I'm going to start a post and I'm going to paste that. It's going to come up here, pop up the preview, and then I can backspace over this and write something to my network, like great article for any of you that are looking to really work on brand image or something like that. So whatever it is for your work that would make sense to put in here, and now you've posted things that help start to brand who you are and what you are. So looking at that, we're going to discard because I have no idea what that article says. And that's also how you post something about your own business. Or if you've written a blog, some of you may do a blog on your website or some other social media. Come to the right article here and you can drop a picture in. You can say a couple words about an article that you have on your website and put a link to your website to lead people back to your website. And with this article, you're up here, your network gets a notification that you've published and it stays on your profile as well. So it can be a great way to just say a little, instead of just posting, you might turn it into an educational article. It can only be a paragraph is all it has to be. Like some of mine are real short. I haven't done any in a little while, but I'll show you where that shows up then. So if I come in here and you can see articles, and I know I'm clicking really fast. I hope I'm not going past where you're at here. So I might go through Chamber's virtual strategy. I'm trying to think which ones have an article attached to it there. Yeah. And then you can go back into that was the full article there, but you can go have it linked back to your website as well. Okay. So just a quick way to do articles. You can post or you can write an article. Both great ways to brand yourself and become expert in what you're doing and notify your network about what your business is up to. Another thing you can do is come in here to find clients. I know some of you need to find clients, right? You need to find some customers and things like that. This is where I'm just going to use an example that maybe the work you do, you want to work with human resource people because they hire trainers for their company or they have an interest in what you do. So I might come in here and go human resource, which you got to spell it correctly, or else it doesn't really work. And I'm going to say I want people. See how that little in people pops up there. And if you want to talk to human resource people, you've got 12 million you can talk to. Well, that's a little overwhelming. So what we're going to do, we rarely go into this, but there's an all filters here. This is a powerful query sheet. And I'd be curious how many of you have gone into there before. But if you haven't, this is where you want to come in and add in here, or Huron. I'm going to assume you guys have. Oh, you guys don't have an identity report. You write to LinkedIn and they will add that for you. So if one or a whole group of you write in, or like being NACW, you could definitely, you know, and if you could write in and just go through the help center, tell them you'd like your identity for, because there's so many smaller towns, they just can't add them all in. As soon as someone requests it, they add you in. And then you can actually have that on your profile. So if people are looking to do business with people who are in Port Huron, boom, it's right there. And then you could do a push throughout your community to really update your LinkedIn's and such. So I'm going to say, let's go to Grand Rapids just because that's where I'm at. Greater Grand Rapids. There we are. So I'm going to say I want that area. So then I'm going to apply that geographic, and I come down to 19,000. That's still a little overwhelming for me as a salesperson. So I'd come back in here, go to all filters, and now you might choose particular industries. Maybe I want human resource people that are in hospital and healthcare and automotive, but you can add anything you want in there. Now, I doubt I'll have much pop up there. Still 1,800, okay. Because these little numbers, again, some of you may know this, but first means I'm connected to them. Second means I know somebody who's connected. Third means I know somebody who knows somebody, and that's just, don't even bother with those. So just start with your first and seconds there. And that's where now you can start to do some research. I wouldn't just connect with this. Say this Amanda is somebody you would like to do business with as an example for whatever who you're searching for. I might come in and see who I'm connected to, who could help introduce me, or who could I ask more questions of, or whose name could I just use? Not as a name dropper, but just somebody, you know, gosh, I see you, we both know Karen. It's always fun to know how people know Karen because she's out there everywhere. Maybe we could chat about that. Even something to warm up that call. And now she goes, gosh, if I don't call Sherry back, gosh, she'll tell Karen I'm a loser, so I better call her back. Peer pressure is okay. So, but no, usually when you can drop a name like that, they know there's a connection, there's something. And again, this is where I would say something like, you know, I was doing some research on your company, your LinkedIn profile popped up. And that's where I saw that you're connected to Karen as well as I am. So they don't think that you're just scanning LinkedIn, looking for people who fit what you're looking for. So I always try to make it very personal. But if I was to go into Amanda's, I don't know her from anywhere. I like how she's branded herself here. And here's the company she's with. She does pay for LinkedIn. So that, but you know, human resources people do if they're hiring a lot of people. You'll see that's who you often see pay for LinkedIn because they're doing a lot of headhunting. But then I come down here and I can read a little bit about her. I can see, you know, is she new at her company where my product or service might help her be a great new resource at that company? Or she's been there a long time, she probably has some decision-making power. So it just helps you know how you're going to approach this person. There's no such thing as a cold call anymore. I feel like I can just warm it up and know lots about this person before I call them. You might have shared schools that you've attended that give you rapport building. You can tell how professional they are with their licenses and certifications, where their philanthropic time is spent, if it's outside of their industry even. So you just get to feel like you know this person a little more by the time you go to call them. So that's why I like being able to look at LinkedIn before you ever call a current customer that maybe you don't know, that you've inherited an account list from. Look at who you're calling before you call them. If you're looking to call somebody who inquired with your company, before you call them back, come see if they're on LinkedIn where you can get a feel a little bit of who they are before you call them back. So again, and it's easy to visualize who you're talking to as well when you see a picture there. That can be helpful. So just a couple quick things on that, how you can use that. If you have current customers and clients, get connected with them on LinkedIn, no matter if you work for a company or it's your own business, because as you have people on here, you can scan down the app when you're waiting for, well, we used to go to lunch meetings, but you're waiting for a Zoom meeting to start. Pull your app out, pull your phone out, and quickly go through and like, comment, and share. Get front of mind with your customers and clients. Engage with them here on LinkedIn because that's where they're hanging out right now. So if they're hanging out here and you're hanging out over in in email even, or you're hanging out somewhere else, you want to make sure you're hanging where your customers and clients are hanging out. And if it's LinkedIn, that's what you want to check. How many of the people you work with are in LinkedIn? Then come down here and just scan and kind of look through. Who do I see something that I want to like, comment, or share on? Just right there, I want to be front of mind with her. I'm going to do that. This is where you can see job changes of the people you work with. Somebody you work with at a company and they've changed jobs and you don't know it until you go to call on them again. Well, they've been gone 4 months and their new replacements in and already built a new relationship with a different vendor. So now you want to see immediately when someone changes jobs and what company are they going to, and could you still do business with them, or who's taking their place right early on so you can be part of that relationship building from the start of a new person. So again, I think I'm just loading you up with lots of information that some of you can use, some of you can't use. But again, just keep an eye on who you can engage with on your wall, basically. A little bit different than Facebook. Facebook's definitely relationship pieces, but this is relationships with some people that aren't maybe doing their business in Facebook. So, or their businesses in Facebook and you see their marketing people, but the executive I actually want to be connected to, I have to connect individual profile to individual profile. Shaking hands with a profile. When I go into an event, I'm shaking hands with that person, not touching the wall of their building. So the company page is great, but I want relationship one-on-one with people.
Now, the more you interact in this type of format on the comments and the posts and stuff, when people are seeking you out, like in the search bar there that we looked at, 12.8 million in human resources, how did that lady get to the top? Was it because it's simply alphabetical, or is she very active out in LinkedIn? Is that how you move up higher?
There are algorithms. Sometimes it's by who you, like how many connections you have together and how many of their keywords matched your keywords. And they do all that quickly behind the scenes. But there are algorithms there that are set up to do that. It does help that you're active on LinkedIn. I do believe still, I think that does play into it just like on Facebook. So you can optimize that SEO. Quite often, if I go to look for somebody's name, their LinkedIn profile pops up on Google before their company website quite often. And that's why you want to make sure you have your profile set, because if somebody Googles you, even though you work for a company, quite often they're going to come across your profile before they ever land on your company website. You want that profile working for you in case they do. And keep an eye on that. If you look at your right over here, who viewed your profile, you can come into that. And this is where you want to know immediately. And I'm so glad there's somebody, a couple who looked at me from that I always, if there's always at least one, and I'm always, yes, somebody's doing their homework immediately. So with that, you want to then see, say you put a proposal out or you calling a certain person to follow up with. If I had a proposal out to Vicki last week or two, and I see she looked at my profile today, 23 minutes ago, I would want to follow up with her today. There's a reason I'm front of mind with her, and she's just read my profile, so this is a great time to follow up. So if you use the free version, you can only see the last 5 people who have looked at your profile. So I say opening LinkedIn up, just like you do your Outlook or your Google Calendar every day, your CRM system, open it up and keep it minimized, and you are bound to use it as a tool so much more. And I think you'll find a lot of value in using that tool. I know that we are way past your time. I know the tech kind of delayed us a little bit, but I'm going to stop share for just a second here and ask you guys, I know there's some of you that are still hanging with us here. Have you found so far, by just show of hands or nodding your head, a few things you didn't know you could do with LinkedIn or a different way to use it? Few people? Okay, good. So if you're in that business development arena, that's a really key one. Or just connecting with business people. If you're just looking to connect with other people in your community for business, just put something, you can search by companies, find people that you can connect with and get your name connected to that company. And if you are doing business, there's a whole companies section to follow the companies you do business with. Make sure you follow those companies. Okay. Any questions specifically for something you do in your work that we could tackle for just a minute? Anybody have anything?
Do you recommend people connecting with people even if you don't really know them?
Oh, good question. Say this is somebody I'd like to do business with or just feel there's value. I would put a personal note with your invitation. So if you say, I see we're both doing business in Port Huron, we have similar networks, it'd be great to be connected, and I hope that maybe at some point we cross paths. Now I see why you want to connect, so I'll accept that. But if I just get a connection request from anybody, what you're doing is when you accept that connection request from somebody you don't know, I just said, Julie knows them and she's all about the community. I think I'll accept it too. I gave that company, you gave it credibility, you gave that person credibility, and we really don't know who they are. So I always, and if someone says connects with you, you might say, hey, I don't think we've had a chance to even chat by phone before. Could we set up a phone call and just talk about our business and see how we could help each other? If they're not even willing to do that, they want your Rolodex, which is all your connections. So just feel it out a little bit, Julie. That was a great question. You can connect with people you don't know. Just tell them why. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? There's lots we can do on LinkedIn, though, that's for sure. We could go for an hour or two on this, but feel free to email me direct or connect with me on LinkedIn. But I'm Sherry at sherrypatch.com. So
I have a question. Is there something that we should absolutely avoid doing? Like, do not do this no matter what.
You know, I would go to your privacy settings and look at what you're showing and not showing and make sure you're comfortable with them. But as far as don't post every single day selling to people.
Right. Okay.
You want to be a resource. You want to be building relationship. So don't be, you can post every day, but don't make it about me, about me, about me. This is what I do. This is what I do. Do you love us? Do you love me as much as I love me? Look at everything I do for y'all. So keep it very relational. Keep it a resource, things like that. That's the thing I think I would say the most, because there are some people who do, and don't post all the, there's some inspirational ones that are good and are helpful, but be known for more than inspirational posts. Blend them in there. So blend and balance is the key piece.
Okay.
Talk about what you do, be a resource for your industry, do an inspiration now and then, and just be known for a well-rounded post.
Okay. And
Yeah.
one other question,
Yeah.
which is, I'm always leery to put it on LinkedIn, and then somebody's going to go and they're going to see something, my website doesn't look the way I want it to. So now I've built all these roadblocks. Like, I can't do anything on LinkedIn until my website is perfect and until my autoresponders work, until I've got this list. And so I do nothing on LinkedIn. And
Yes.
I'm thinking that might be
It's called
misguided.
analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Yes. We work so hard at making sure we know everything. We've got everything. Everything's in order that we're paralyzed to do anything. So
Right.
I would recommend, Shannon, just don't put links to your website right now, and use your LinkedIn as a mini website. Post your videos, post your things, and just brand yourself in there. And when you're ready for your website, add that link. But there's no reason to promote your link if you don't want them there.
No, but that's awesome. You're a rock star. Thank you.
And use your
I'm gonna change
profile about section. Talk about what you would talk about on your website. Use the PDFs and the videos and all those on that profile. And in my email signature, I have a link to my LinkedIn profile and my website, but I want people to go to my LinkedIn profile because that's where they can be very personal with me. And then there's the website that you have to hit different, you have to hit testimonials here, you have to hit what I do here. But my LinkedIn can give a full, so just in your email signature, don't put your website quite yet. Just put.
Kind of a follow-up question to Shannon. So she's talking about like all the different things on the profile and what you need to add and don't add. Do you find that there's like a certain order, or there are certain things you need to really make sure at the top? Like, do people get like, they scroll so far and then they're like, okay, anything below here is just kind of.
Yeah, definitely get your about section right up there underneath your picture and your contact information, so I know why I might want to connect with you. And I think that's the most important piece to have next. And then it depends, like if you're physical therapy, certifications might be really important. But if you're not, then it could be down, like mine are way down there because DISC, you know. But so I think it's then based on what you do. But I would keep your about the top as high as you can put that one, because that's what you want people to be shaking hands with, basically. And again, if you're going to go back and do homework right now, first thing to do, get your profile where you're proud of it, where you like what it says, then start connecting with as many people as you know in the community, as you do business with, but don't start connecting with a bunch of people till you have your profile where you really want. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also look in your settings. There's a place that you can change it to where every update you do to your profile isn't broadcast to your network. You don't want to be known for updates. You want to be known for relevant things. So make sure to go in and just look at all your privacy settings and make sure they're all where you want them and like them. And I'm a little late too, but I want to say congratulations to Catherine too on being Woman of the Year there. So congrats on that. And granddaughter too. There you go. All right, any other questions? Feel free to connect one-on-one if you have a quick question or two, okay? But thanks for inviting me to be with you all today. I love it. All right.
Well, thank you, Sherry. We appreciate it. If has anyone come up with anything? You know what, I'm sorry, I was recording this, so now I'm going to stop. So thank you, Sherry.